Bans have been
the same.
fairly standard so far, and they are sticking to the same path. This now means that Twisted Fate is available out there.
Yeah, Ari is still available.
Yep.
Peke's been playing a lot of that. They're keeping Jarvan away from Dexter.
Wow.
And the York ban is what worked out for LemonDogs last game. They kind of sucked it up and dealt with the Ari, knowing they still have Twisted Fate, I guess, in their back pocket. We could see similar team comps coming out once again because both these teams are free, but we really got to wonder, Soaz is thinking right now, what's more important, Ari? Zach.
Zach has been banned a few times and is a strong champion, according to Alex Itch, as we saw earlier on. If you missed that one, well, you missed the cracker between EG and Gambit. I won't spoil it for you. Make sure you go and watch it over at lollysports.com. We are looking at Kennen and Zyra, though.
Very nicely for people that are watching that and seeing the first game.
Well, there might be a few that just tuned in.
That. You never know. Anyway, of course, the Zyra's been so swinging in these games, completely dominating, and Peke is just sitting on that Ari because it's worked for him very well. Even in that defeat, he had a very strong game on Ari. He was creating a lot of action and kills, and it's not surprising that he locked that in.
Oh, and Aatrox could follow up. Or, no, then, okay. So they're seeing the Zyra, they're thinking, we don't want to let them have this combo.
Yeah, they want to keep the combo away from Tabs and LemonDogs. But also, after what happened last game, if it gets too late, LemonDogs is going to do the Banshee spell thing again. They got to be a little careful for that. That means Fnatic's got to push the pace in this one.
I think it's safe to say Pushu doesn't have too much input in the picks and bans, judging by the way he was sat. He's just in a very relaxed mode is the expression I would use. Looking like Lee Sin, of course, it's been contested. It's another one. Jugglers, they both want it.
It's his 4th Ashe game in a row as well. So he's like, yeah, I know what I'm going to do in this game. I'm going to volley a bunch. I'm going to try to line up my arrows. I'm ready to go. And this also means it's the 4th time LemonDogs is playing against it. So Ezreal worked fantastically for them last game. They're playing all the things they had in the last game, aside from Jarvan right now, if they end up going with this Ezreal, because they won. Why wouldn't you?
And after seeing that little glimpse of an Aatrox, they're thinking, we're going to leave Lee Sin open. We're going to see if you do want to take this. So what do you want? And then maybe it's even given Dexter a bit of a thought. They are seeing Sona locked in, so it's the Sona Ashe lane. Whether it's going to work out. Crescendo seemed to do work, although did bait in Fnatic a couple of times. And there is the Aatrox, which I assume means that Lee Sin will get picked out by LemonDogs.
Yeah, that's usually what Dexter has left, unless he decides to do something a little more devious here. I'm not sure. Just wanted to use that word for some reason. There's nothing devious about his next pick.
The devious jungler.
Oh,
big scary.
What's he got planned?
What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Not gonna be able to see where we're going. It is gonna be the exact same team for LemonDogs.
Yeah, well, they have Lee Sin instead of Jarvan, because Jarvan was banned away. Last game it was Cyanide who was on Lee Sin, but very, very similar team compositions. That's of the champions that were in last game, there's 8 of them in this game again. Fnatic probably having the most changes of Aatrox and Zach, a lot more for Fnatic here, because while they could start fights against LemonDogs, they didn't really have much persistent threat in any of those fights, and Aatrox is all about persistent threat in these games, as well as Zach is just able to put out a whole bunch of damage overall.
Well, we saw a similar combo coming out from EU Regionals in game 1. It was the other way around though. Obviously it was Snoopy on Zach in the jungle and Wicked on Aatrox in the top. They could flip it, there is still 10 seconds to go, but I'm pretty sure that's how it actually will remain. So Soaz this time on Zach has had the very good 2 Yorick games, had a pretty good Malphite game in all honesty. Now he's pulling out yet another tank, but we've seen Soaz actually playing different forms of Zach, and he's discussed it before in interviews that it really depends how he goes in lane. Sometimes you can build a tank, sometimes you can go full ability power and just absolutely nuke people.
Soaz is definitely someone who likes to sneak in damage when possible. Even his Malphite in the last game had the Abyssal Scepter just in there, because at the point it was going fairly well for him. And I really wonder how that Zach is going to fare against Kennen, Soaz versus Zoro Zero, in front of this giant crowd, because the game has honestly, if we just isolated it, it's kind of swung on how Soaz has done against Zoro Zero.
There's a lot of fans here, all able to get the autographs of the players. The players are openly, they will happily come and take photos and pictures and sign your shirts, it seems, or sign your all sorts. There's been all sorts of stuff been asked to sign. And don't get me to sign those oranges. They are the hardest, most awkward thing to sign. But that's aside, because we are into the game. It's Fnatic, ladies and gentlemen, as the blue team. They are 2 games up over the LemonDogs as the red team, who have only that one match, the last match. They had a very similar team comp. They did manage to successfully get the win. We'll see if that translates into yet another. Fnatic looking like they want to be a bit more aggressive this time. It is LemonDogs with that Zyra, though, which seems to start out the aggression. Yeah,
and Fnatic has to be very careful about where they go in this early game. They're going for a blue buff invade, which is a little counter to the norm. So many teams go for the red buff invade, like LemonDogs was doing right now. They get spotted by that ward and just run straight by it. So Fnatic knows where LemonDogs is, and instead of counter invading, they're trying to sneak around as well. What could possibly go wrong? Everyone's decided to recall.
What could possibly go wrong with this situation? Yeah, exactly. Fnatic, though, looking like they may go for that blue buff invade and are in position, waiting there. Remember, of course, it's 155 when it's going to spawn out here. Oh, there's a lane switch. Zoro is going down bottom. He's going to be on his own.
Yeah, but with all those pings that just came from LemonDogs up in the top lane, they're guessing positions right now of where Fnatic is, and none of those pings have been where Fnatic actually was. Instead, Fnatic decides to back away, and they of course they couldn't know, but that would have been a great move.
It would have been a great move. They could have gone in, stolen away that blue buff. Not too sure whether they'd have been able to react, but this actually may put Fnatic in a problem now, because LemonDogs are going straight towards that blue. They're going to get spotted out by the ward, though.
When all is said and done, the wards from LemonDogs give more knowledge necessary than the wards from Fnatic. All this is really going to accomplish is Cyanide's going to go to the LemonDogs blue buff, and Dexter's going to go to his own red buff after this. Fairly common jungle start.
Straightforward trade. Dexter does take it, doesn't use the smite, and he will clear the actual spawn as well. So he will have the timer for the next one, and Cyanide sure as damn it will rush straight across. Cyanide does have his smite available, so he's just going to go across there. We're not seeing LemonDogs Dexter rushing towards this one. So, as you mentioned, straightforward trade.
Yeah. Normal start for these teams. We know that LemonDogs likes to slow play, and it's going to be very impactful how these 2v1 lanes go this time. Zoro, the last time he was in a 1v2 situation in Game 2, got crushed by Pushu and Yellowstar. That was when Yellowstar had Zyra. Maybe Sona will be a little different. You could tell Zoro already went back to base once to pick up extra health potions because he knew the lane wasn't going to get to his turret for a while. And already Dexter is worried about helping him because they're actually expecting a Cyanide gank or at least a pressure.
Okay, Cyanide did not clear out that blue buff. He is waiting in that tri-bush to go for that pressure. Hasn't stepped around the corner, so he won't show himself just at the moment, but Dexter is there. Now it's going to be a 3v2. It's a dangerous 3v2 for Fnatic, though.
Yeah, but it's a level 1 cannon. I feel like Cyanide is a little suicidal if he went for a fight. Instead, he's just matching wits with Dexter and saying, yep, we're both in the same place. Let's go away now.
The timings on the blue buff are going to be very different. The charm on Nukeduck does land. Peke going aggressive, but he's actually out of mana, which is why Nukeduck was about to turn that fight around. So as meanwhile in this top lane, playing defensive, sitting on the turret and happily absorbing the damage as Zach.
And it's on Cyanide actually to make some action happen right now since Dexter is in full babysit mode. Oh, wrong way.
Completely missed out on Nukeduck. Ooh, has to force the flash still. Cyanide does take himself a tower hit, but it's safe play nevertheless for LemonDogs.
So even though Cyanide missed completely, he did force Nukeduck into a direction where Xpeke could attack him, and that's what eventually made the flash happen. That's the action that Cyanide wanted to create while Dexter was babysitting, and it means that he should think to make a repeat gank on Nukeduck after he goes back to base and gets his health back.
With the Nukeduck's flash burned out, it seems that Dexter coming around on those raids, thinking of trying to force Peke to use his own flash out there. Of course, he won't have that Spirit Rush available, hasn't hit level 6 just yet, still at level 4. Dexter instead is going to try and pay a visit to bottom.
Yeah, they're really concerned about Zoro's success here, and we saw why. At the end of last game, Zoro was dominating people with Kennen. His slicing maelstorms were ripping Fnatic apart, but that's a large creep wave to think about going in on. Dexter really just here to give Zoro a little bit of safety.
Well, Zoro kind of trotted on down there. It's like, yeah, great. And then Dexter stole with the siege minion. It's like, thanks for the 40 gold lane tax. Mithy's going to get dived upon. And Soaz is not going to follow that one up with Cyanide. So straight lane tax from Dexter, almost baited Zoro in.
Yeah, both of these junglers, they're playing the taxing life right now. They're sitting at home, taking a few jungle camps, and then saying, how's it going in that lane? You want me to help you out a little bit? I'll just take the cannon minion while I'm on my way. And it's not creating many ganks because the 2v1ers, the two, are playing very passively since they recognize the junglers are playing this taxing style where if Tabs or Mithy were actually playing too aggressive, then they could actually get jumped on by Cyanide.
I'm interested whether Dexter actually went at any point to clear out that blue buff. I don't believe he did, so they're not really going to have any clue on the timing on that one at the moment. Well, of course, Dexter did clear out the blue buff of Fnatic, but Fnatic are in trouble in this bottom lane. Zoro continues the aggression. They may try and turn this one around, and Yellowstar goes a little aggressive on towards Zoro, puts himself in harm's way. Pushu continues, throws out that hawk shot, tries to keep them at bay. Nothing going to come of it, though.
So that was the aggression that actually worked out a little bit. It managed to burn both the summoner spells of Yellowstar. And that was honestly because Fnatic decided to get a little counter-aggressive. They tried to kill Dexter as he was coming in, but fighting a Lee Sin this early on in the game, especially in an extended fight with Ashe and Sona, isn't going to work that well. Now, Cyanide tries his hand at a 2v2.
He's going to try and counter. He's got himself in there stealthily towards the tri-bush. Put a ward down actually in that tri-bush and backs off. And, well, seems that LemonDogs kind of knew he was there, despite the fact just spider senses tingling, I believe.
Yeah, there has been a lot of jungle sensing so far in this game. Last game, it was, in fact, I gotta think the first game, First Blood happened around 11 minutes. I don't remember the second one. Third game, the laning phase was extremely long with LemonDogs coming out on top of it. This is the long laning phase that's very even. And based on teams that generally take more action, I feel like Fnatic benefits from having these longer laning phases that they aren't losing.
Well, as it is, both mid laners are 6 or beyond, and we can see both with that ultimate, which means Spirit Rush and Destiny both available. So we'll see whether Nuguk decides to go aggressive. Hasn't been overly aggressive with those Destinies. Tends to just use it more for the split push later, rather than the aggression at the level 6 when you start hitting those spikes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Nukeduck tries to play Twisted Fate as a team fight finisher more than as a ganker. Also, Fnatic is one of the best in the business at avoiding Twisted Fate ganks. They're very good at warding his potential teleporting paths, so they always know when he's about to come for ganks.
LemonDogs are going to take advantage of Fnatic backing away from lanes, and will pick up themselves their first dragon of the game, just shy of the 8-minute mark. That's going to give them that tiniest of gold leads, but it is only a tiny one because Peke, he got himself a 20 CS difference over Nukeduck while he'd been leaving the lane. And overall, it's just simply the gold, which is unusual when you think Dexter is actually, Nukeduck is actually on Twisted Fate, so he's going to have that advantage. We've also had a lane switch.
Yeah, so the 1v2ers get to breathe a little easier and get back to the fighting, but it's actually going to be a lot more even this time because no one was heavily denied on experience. So that means Soaz and Zoro might get to brawl out a little bit, knowing Soaz already has his Giant's Belt to Zoro's Health Crystal.
Stun on towards Soaz, Zoro thinking of going aggressive. This time, when they do come in as that lane, Zoro is actually much closer to Soaz. And instead, like, he was, 20 CS behind and then just got completely punished. We're seeing Cyanide sneaking in towards his bottom lane. We'll see whether he gets anything down. Mithy does not have a ward, puts it straight on his head. Ideal timing, flashes the arrow. It was a close arrow.
It was rather close because Cyanide would have just comboed that very well. Also, Yellowstar is only level 4 in that lane. He's been getting pushed back very frequently, and I think they were trying to get a quicker level 6 for Pushu as well, so they could pull off that arrow gank. A lot of build-up for not much payoff.
Not a lot of payoff either, so must have took them a while to get that one ready. Tabs continuing his farm. This one, let's go for that Blade of the Rune King once again. And Pushu, well, looking like he's probably going to go to Infinity Edge again. So similar builds from these AD carries. I mean, well, Pushu knows what he's building. He's done it for the last 3 games running.
Yeah, he's going Infinity Edge. He's had that slight variation, you know, Static Shiv twice, Phantom Dancer once, depending on how much wave clear the team needs. It didn't work well last game against Tabs, because Tabs is Blade of the Rune King, and combos with Zyra just wreck them, specifically when they're near the turret like this, which is where Pushu and Yellowstar have to be as careful as possible.
Nuke Duck, he's gone for a bit more of a passive start, like we saw with Peke instead. Peke yet to go back, which tells me he's going for that needlessly large rod early on, or a mana item. See, he's got 2,850 gold on him. What the hell? He's going to go back and buy straight big item.
Yeah, that's a lot of money right now for Peke. What is he going to turn that into? Because he has a couple choices, right? He's done the Athene's Unholy Grail in previous games.
Flat out.
And decides to go straight forward again. A defensive Ahri build against Twisted Fate, like usual.
Yeah, so he's going the same route as last time. Worked out very well for him, and why not? It wasn't until those Banshee's Veils got stacked out all across LemonDogs, or Bubble Pop, as Kobe kindly referred to it in his analysis. Zora Zero going a little bit aggressive on towards Soaz, but Dexter waiting in the wings. So we're coming up to the 11-minute mark. Still not a great deal of aggression, just simply the one single ultimate fired in vain.
Yeah, and the
by
dragon.
Pushu. And the dragon, of course. Yeah, let's not discount that one. As we're on the 8-minute mark. It's a slow start this time, Jan. And slow starts tend to benefit LemonDogs in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, they play slow and measured. However, if they don't get too big of a gold advantage, we know the playmaking potential of Fnatic is much greater. Peke, 113 farm with the Unholy Grail and his teleport up, might look to make something happen at some point. Nuke Duck has not went for a defensive build on Twisted Fate, which also gives Peke the potential to maybe aggress him a little bit more. Also, in the top lane where we have Soaz battling against Zoro Zero, it's another one of those situations where Zoro Zero is building for the lane with the Haunting guys and the Dorans, where again Soaz is building straight for Sunfire Cape, potentially team fight ability, which last game Soaz was punished for because he got destroyed in the lane. This game it's a little bit different because he's on Zac and he's laning stronger.
Yeah, he's very much equal in farm, and once he does get out Sunfire Cape, he'll just continue that merry way. We'll see whether Zoro Zero is able to get kills in, because well, Zac is pretty tricky to pin down despite the known fun fact location where his sounds come from. If you missed that one, well, check the Twitter.
And they got the double revive passives as well, necessarily. We haven't talked about that in the grand scheme of the team comp so far, since LemonDogs is rather up front with a lot of their burst. Cannon ulti, Ezreal ultimate, those things flying in. It gives the tank line a little bit more scariness, because especially if you're going all the way through to Nuke Duck, gotta kill him twice.
Let's Bounce used on Zoro Zero, forced the line-in surge away from that one, but it do a great deal of damage from that one. That seemed a bit of a reckless ultimate, honestly, from Soaz.
I feel like he just wanted to do something. He's about 13 minutes into the game here, and he hasn't had a contentious lane. They're farming, pretty much trading. He's getting pushed back a little bit, but not taking much damage. And he's maybe just trying to test the waters with what he's able to do to Zoro Zero right now. Turns out it's not that much.
Not a great deal just yet, but I think he'll be fairly happy with the trade. Maybe he's just trying to bait out Zoro Zero to use that ultimate, because the dragon will be up in a minute. Maybe trying to keep that cooldown down, trying to get the ignites dropped off him or something like that, trying to force anything, knowing that he's fairly safe to be able to get away. So as instead, it does seem that they're going to try and set up ping ward on LemonDogs, from LemonDogs, sorry, spotting out Cyanide. So they know that he's on the red buff at the moment. Blue buffs, we haven't actually followed their trade. They seem to be picked up perfectly fine. I think I just saw Nuke Duck with his blue buff as he backed away. And the mid laners, we are seeing Peke going a little wandering. He has got teleport, by the way, of course. We could go looking, but again, he's another one that doesn't use it in aggression. Both these mid laners are so similar.
And there's a lot of counterattack potential from both of these teams, which is one of the reasons they're kind of happily farming. And if we just kind of think about how these team fights are actually going to play out, Fnatic with Soaz and Cyanide have very powerful tanks right now. They can dive through and put a lot of pressure on a Nuke Duck. Also, Fnatic has to make sure they try to stop this second dragon coming down. Cyanide is very low before this contest, and Dexter has a secure. Ash Arrow flies through, doesn't hit either.
Yeah, the arrow whiffs on through. Crescendo lands on towards Midi. That's going to be the dark path from Cyanide. Dives in, secures the kill. That's going to be, oh, nearly tried to get in the passive. That's going to be the second. Nuke Duck just gets exploded by Peke.
So because the first blood was given to Fnatic, they come out ahead in that trade. Normally you can trade Dragon for 2 kills, but since it was a 14-minute first blood, it comes out ahead for Fnatic. Getting a kill onto Peke is very important as well, and it gives them the potential to push down this turret, since LemonDogs is down 2 people.
Not too sure whether they've got the damage to take him down. We'll look at that in a moment, though.
Yeah, this is just Yellow Star making a flash crescendo that works. It gets Mithy down, and then it actually makes NukeDuck think she could stick around. Again, bullseye by Peke with the charm. Dashes actually so he can get the true damage back from his Orb of Deception, and that just works out great.
And that is a turret, so big advantage picked up there. And it levels out the gold. Pushu went straight down to the bottom and tried to react, forcing Tabs to back off here. So if he not get himself that turret down. So, Fnatic, they have an advantage again. This is a similar situation that NukeDuck and co had to work their way back from. It's going to be a hard-fought battle for them to do so. It is 2-1 to Fnatic for the #1 place, the champions. Let's not forget there's a bit of money on the line as well.
Yeah, there's the small issue of prizing for these guys, which is actually 50,000 for the first place team, which is a very good prize as they move on for even bigger prize pools at the World Championships right now. So still playing hard. 100 gold, and Twisted Fate passive alone has given him 550 right now.
And ooh, the arrow's going to get sidestepped by NukeDuck.
He is really good at that.
Big farm advantage by Peke. 184 CS to 141. That's slowly been developing. Lichbane has come out early once again from NukeDuck. Kind of the standard Twisted Fate, I guess you could say. Peke, I feel he's saving up again.
Yeah,
I think he's rushing for a big item. He has, look at that.
2,600 gold. That's a few bits of monies. He'll probably go Deathfire Grasp. That seems to be his favorite second item on Ahri. He still needs to get magic penetration as well. NukeDuck's favorite item, by the way, is Lichbane. I think he's built that first in all of his games this set. Sometimes he builds it before boots even.
Well, bottom lane, I'm looking towards Dexter. Making his way through, straight past the ward. He's going to get spotted out by Fnatic. Let's see how they react to this one. Cyanide diverts and starts heading down towards the bottom lane, realizing that there is a potential dive. We are also seeing NukeDuck close by, picking up blue buff. Destiny is available, so they could try and turn this into a 4v3 advantage, which is why we see Peke now starting to react. He's heading down.
Exactly, and even if he doesn't react fully, he has his teleport. NukeDuck has to worry about the lane that is getting mercilessly pushed in with minions in the mid lane. Peke, even though he hasn't directly killed NukeDuck in lane, he did off in the blue buff, is winning this matchup once again on Ahri. It's why he tunnels into that pick so readily, because he has so much success on it.
And the fact that he went back and got that Deathfire
even more powerful
means he's going to surely be looking for those kills. We saw how much he snowballed those kills and went until that Banshee's Veils are available. And that's a big, big investment that LemonDogs had to put down. And it wasn't until around the 50-minute mark that they managed to successfully get them down and shut him down. So Fnatic maybe going to be looking at that last game thinking, you know, we were doing fine. It wasn't until that really happened. We just need to finish quicker.
Exactly. They recognize when they were being aggressive in games 1 and 2, they absolutely took it home. When Pushu was having those amazing scores on Ashe, I mean, keep in mind, he's still playing in a bit of a weird situation. He's qualified his team for Worlds here, but we all know, really, that Reckless is sitting in the wings, and this is another one of those let's have fun ults, I think, for Soaz, unless he's getting a bit more damage on Zoro Zero this time.
Well, Soaz wanted to bounce, and Zoro Zero was fine with that. It just goes back to his towers. All right, I give up. I'll just walk back here. You're not going to kill me. You're just going to annoy me. As it is, as I believe Quickshot once mentioned, just about sending a message by Soaz there, telling him this is my lane. And he is actually ahead in farm over a Kennen, which is impressive in itself. Yeah. Because Kennen's a very good farmer.
Fnatic Soaz had only had that one bad game this series when he picked Malphite into Zoro Zero's Kennen. The other two games where Soaz played Yorick, he was dominating the laning phase. He is incredibly talented. That's why he's the European all-star top laner. And specifically because he hasn't even itemized against Zoro Zero. Most Zacs against Kennen would go for a fairly early Spirit Visage, but with a Sunfire Cape, it's actually an aggressive build that's more tailored around dealing with 80 carries later, and he's still just winning with it.
Well, Cyanide and Pushu wipe out that wave. Oh, I didn't see where the nuke got that one. Let's see where the gold stacked up, but Fnatic, they've got 4 members pushing towards this mid lane. They're going to see if they can catch someone out. You see that Pushu and Cyanide were trying to creep up around that side, but there is a ward placement there, so LemonDogs will spot it out.
And holy crap, 242 CS from Peke, and a second kill onto NukeDuck. He's scary right now. Well, this might be why NukeDuck's been just staying away from him.
This is that DFG doing his work, really. They are putting pressure on towards that middle turret. Tabs nearly getting caught out there. Grasping Roots did land on Mithy. They're going to try and go aggressive. Tabs does go aggressive. And pulls a good damage out. Trisha Barrage came through. Peke had to use his flash to get out of the way of that one.
That was a good escape by Peke after pulling off such... He made that kill look easy on Nuke Deck. It almost got like a golf clap. It's like, oh yeah, good work. Well, we went 100-0 your lane opponent and almost nothing. Oh, the Ash Arrow helped him out. We didn't catch that on the clip. Well, that makes it a little...
less impressive.
It's a nice arrow.
It was a nice arrow. Very nice arrow indeed. LemonDogs, well, this is dangerous play. We do see Destiny being used. Teleport was instantly replied on. Peke, instead of rushing in towards it, just uses that Destiny to farm.
Yes, and the ultimate from Peke is also back up, which gives Fnatic a huge spike in ability right now. They're actually using this to maybe catch LemonDogs in between the dragon and the middle turret area, or is LemonDogs actually waiting to try and get something? I feel like Mithy is not where he should be.
Mithy is having to flash away from that one. Dexter getting vision of Soaz. Soaz is going to elastic slingshot across and forces the safeguard. Mithy doing a good job of defending, but this is going to be Dragon for Fnatic. They got the first one. They may get the second.
Zyra and Kennen in Dragon fights is very dangerous. Zyra ult doesn't get anything. Pushu finishes off another one, and Fnatic turns
it round. They've managed to get the second. They've already taken the Dragon as well. It's a double for Pushu. And now NukeDuck's in trouble. He's going to get focused on. That Cyanide's passive pop there. Gibbs managed to pull out the stun card. Soaz just backs away from that one. Tabs wants to get involved in this fight. He's trying to get around the side. Gets the true shot barrage off. Forces Peke back. We're going to see Soaz. Soaz has gone in on his own. The rest of his team have already disengaged. That could be suicidal by Soaz. He's going to have to try and escape from this one, and he's forced Yellowstar to go down. He may pay for it with his own life. Big mistake by Soaz there. Elastic slingshot does get him away. Oh, that shuriken from Zora Zero tries to follow through. Had his passive, of course. Not exactly completely clean from Fnatic.
Seemed like a good idea at the time for Soaz to go in, but let's take a look at how this fight started once again. Peke burst down Mithy with the Ash Arrow, gets him at the end, and then Dexter was kind of caught in the side. Look at that max range charm hitting him as well. And at this point, it was just chasing for Fnatic. They tried to go down. Cyanide gets his passive popped, and Fnatic had picked up the Dragon plus a couple kills from that one.
So, it's 5-1 to Fnatic. They're leading by just 2,000 gold. It's not a big deal. 2-2 in turrets. LemonDogs far from out of this game. You do see a these large rod being picked up by NukeDuck, trying to continue getting that damage going. Tabs, he's starting to be a problem, I feel. Oh, NukeDuck completely caught out. Peke burns him down again.
And Peke's went, even with the Athene's Unholy Grail, more aggressive than he had in previous games. He went Sorcerer Shoes instead of Mercury Treads. Whereas NukeDuck went for the defensive TF with the Mercury Treads right there. It's not helping, by the way. Peke's just cleaning him up. Even though Twisted Fate has generated nearly 1,000 gold with his loaded dice passive, Peke is still ahead of him. 274 farm, 23 minutes in right here. 9,700 gold. And he's going to be able to buy another big item soon. I'm sure Death Cap is next.
Fnatic is starting to do what they do best, and that's Peke off on his own, split pushing, while the rest of the team do that 4-man invade. They're going to take away the blue buff as well. That's going to be given across towards Pushu. That arrow has been vital in engaging these fights and creating those opportunities. We saw the one land on NukeDuck earlier on. He's 0-3-1, by the way, so far. And again, it seems to be Peke that's winning out the opening exchanges.
Yeah, Peke, this game, along with Pushu, both of these guys have been doing amazingly for Fnatic throughout these playoffs, and specifically in this series. Ash Arrows have set up a lot of Peke's ability to get ahead in this game, as well as just Pushu forcing LemonDogs into some strange picks and Banshee's Veils in all the games. Like, honestly, the only game Fnatic beat against LemonDogs, or sorry, LemonDogs won against Fnatic, was because the whole team had to bid Banshee's Veils, because those Ash Arrows have been so clutch in initiating the proper team fights.
Peke is actually closing in very quickly onto 300 farm, along with those 302. He's got a big gold advantage built up over NukeDuck, which is equating to those items. You can see yet another needlessly large rod being added to his collection. So that's going to be the Rabadons, or even Azonius. I believe it'll probably be a Rabadons that will follow through here. LemonDogs, well, they've been in this situation 3 games already. They kind of figured it out in the last one, though. Not too sure whether Fnatic are going to allow them to do it this time.
Yeah, Fnatic does not want to give up a comeback. We're already up 2-0, as you said. And they're a team that generally knows how to close. Like, when LOT is on the line, Fnatic generally performs. That one didn't hit.
It didn't hit. Destiny is created as well. They're going to go in for this one, I feel. Peke already making a move. Teleport not yet available, but it will be shortly. But Zoro wasn't with them either.
And this is the crazy thing. Peke wasn't even close as he walked over that ward, and LemonDogs pinged him. They were scared enough that Peke could have came in at the end of the fight. They said, no way, we're not dealing with that guy. 300 minion kills right before 25 minutes for him. An absurd clip.
Absurd amount of minions, and that's going to be true shot. It's going to try and wipe out that wave, but the tower continues to take the damage. Cyanide front loads, takes that. He's quite tanky right now. That is going to be a inner turret going down, the middle inner turret, the first one of the game. Nuke comes across, but the rest of Fnatic are heading in his direction.
4 turrets to 2, and they want more. If Nuke gets, I thought Zoas was going to go on that one, but there are no minions, and Fnatic knows they can take this one a little bit slow. Right now, LemonDogs doesn't have their full team defending. We've seen so many teams try to hold at these outer turrets and get dove. There is a large gap between the inner turret and the inhibitor turret, and Peke wants to come around the back potentially and dive. Ash Arrow is almost off cooldown. Once they clear the minions, they might try to Ash Arrow in to get a fight.
Well, then LemonDogs setting up the siege.
It might come right now.
Oh, look at the charm, that's on towards Mithy. Mithy gets your drop straight away. Soaz jumps in, Let's Bounce gets popped. The rest of his team not really on the same wavelength. He simply keeps them at bay. And that's going to be another inner turret picked up by Fnatic.
Peke and Pushu are just in such sync right now. Either one of those combos would have worked. Ash Arrow to Charm or Charm to Ash Arrow. If one lands, the other hits. The Charm is lower cooldown, so as long as Peke can safely throw those out and go fishing, he's going to catch one eventually.
So Fnatic all go back to buy. Continue to pick up their fat stacks. They've got themselves 2 inner turrets on that push alone.
Huge. Pushu went for the Phantom Dancer this time. You know, he's got to mix things up every once in a while on these Ashe games.
Keep you guys guessing.
Zoro's mixing things up as well. His 4th Kennen game right now. Abyssal Scepter and a Haunting guys. He's going to hopefully try and catch Peke in some type of stun and just blow him up, because both the mages here on LemonDogs are just going full on damage, it seems, aside from the Mercury Treads that have been put on Nuke. They still have the turret pushing potential if they could find the opportunity. And actually, this could be a decent global gold opportunity for them. Peke up top with teleport. Scratch what I just said. This is a terrible opportunity for LemonDogs. Peke would come in and clean house.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go for this one. The arrow is not available yet, but Crescendo absolutely is. Dexter's in the Baron pit right now. Cyanide looking to go in there. Mithy's trying to throw out those grasping roots. Forces himself to get that ward, which got spotted out very early on there. They managed to get enough hits on it. LemonDogs are in a precarious position, and while this is all happening, let's not forget Peke's continued to split push top.
And Peke's going to try and find Nuke in the jungle somewhere here. He's hiding behind a brush, and Nuke is very worried about where he's going to go. There's 2 games of cat and mouse going on right now, one at Dragon and one at top.
Let's see whether Peke, with that new Rabadon's Death Cap, manages to win it out. The charm landed straight in there. DFG fires through. There's so much damage coming out from Peke. The stun card only just landed. There's going to be Arrow. It lands on towards Zoro. Let's Bounce gets going, and it's going to be Fnatic that absolutely melt through LemonDogs. LemonDogs are dropping like flies. It was a cat and mouse game, and it's LemonDogs that almost certainly went wrong there. 0 for 3.
Fnatic just pounced on them across the map. Peke, bullseye with the charm. Puzu, in sync, bullseye with the Ash Arrow. They get 3 kills here. Let's watch the top kill again. As that happened, they're just like, we got one, let's go for another. You know, Ezreal gets out, Zoro does not, and Dexter gets caught in the same AoE disaster that Fnatic put down on them, and at that point, LemonDogs just had to turn tail and run away.
Yeah, Stranglethorns, it was a good position, but frankly, everything was already there, and this is going to be a free, well, it's not free Baron, it's a hard work Baron. They managed to pick up 3 kills, so it's a hard-earned Baron, but nevertheless, it's 10-1 for Fnatic. That is a big, big gold lead right now, just coming up to the 30-minute mark. Amazing stuff from Fnatic in this game 4.
Yeah. Might be their 3rd victory as well. They were close to the sweep, LemonDogs fought back, and now LemonDogs is in one of the most precarious positions they have been all series. There is a bunch of gold. Gotta track the items that Fnatic's about to build. And neither see large rod got completed by Peke. That actually puts him at 689 ability power with that Baron buff right now. He's ready to explode people. Last Whisper was completed by Pushu as well. He is just rushing on Ashe. And he caught him for about the 1000th time, dead again.
So Peke He could have gone across towards the minion wave, spotted out because they got great vision ward in their own jungle. I just went straight across. Nuke 0-5-1 now, not a chance.
No, and he's tried to build aggressively because he knows that Peke is going to kill him almost no matter what. There was no fighting back at that point. Even with the flash, Ari had a bit more.
So here we go, Fnatic with that Baron buff up. They are in a numbers advantage. And now Peke, he's found on Tabs, but Tabs tries to turn this one around. Has to try and dodge out that charm, but the damage is just so strong from Peke, the barrier can't save him. It's another one. That's the inhibitor turrets going down, and Fnatic just driving home their advantage.
And now they can just push on this inhibitor turret because Peke took out 2 himself. By the way, those 2 were probably the most farmed members of LemonDogs, 1 by 1. Let's just take another look at this duel he had with Tabs. It's a skill shot war between Ezreal and Ari right now. Even though Peke missed a few, so much damage and that's near 700 ability power. Plus the red buff, surprisingly. Peke got in a lot of auto attacks, helped him out. His ult is up again, by the way. If he catches anything, they're going to continue to go.
Oh, that charm goes in. Oh,
there you go.
Actually going aggressive. Safeguards away. Crazy, crazy stuff. LemonDogs, well, they're trying to fight for this one, that's for sure. They have another minion wave, conga lining its way into there, and Fnatic, well, it's going to get wiped out with that true shot, surely, but they've still got the damage down. The turret's going to go down. That's the second inhibitor turret. The arrow goes out, it lands on Dexter, but they don't follow through on it. Instead, they're going to take the inhibitor. That will be 2 inhibitors for Fnatic at the 31-minute mark.
For a second there, I thought Peke was just going to take another kill because he decided to dash near someone, but that is an effectively uncontested inhibitor. We can't even get time to call these.
Well, I think the game called it itself. Peke is legendary. This is going to be the game for Fnatic, and more importantly, this could well be the final. And of course, the #1 seed. Fnatic in full control. Nuke is out of his base. He's trying to keep the waves at bay. Fnatic don't care. They're just going to keep on pushing through. It will be Fnatic taking the victory here in the final. They're going to be going to Los Angeles as the #1 seed, the Spring Split champions and the Summer Split champions. Fnatic, the reigning champions of Europe.
That's got to feel really good for them going into the World Finals here. Just a few weeks ago, they were playing to even get into these playoffs. But Fnatic has made such a late season run. They came on top of the 4-team tiebreaker at the end of the European playoffs. They 2-0'd their semifinal match. They nearly 3-0'd right here. 3-1 will have to do. They're the #1 seed.
And it's funny because I spoke to Peke just last night and he was talking about the aggression that they were planning on putting into this matchup, and sure as hell it worked because it was all about Peke. As we get invaded by the glitter all across the stadium, all across Gamescom, they're just getting rained on because Peke, you know, he proved why he was the #1 assassin in Europe. He had the highest kills coming into this one. He ended that last game 8-0-2, and we saw him just towards the end there single-handedly taking down Nuke and Tabs. Tabs actually waited in the bushes to try and initiate that fight, realized we can't win this.
Peke may have gotten a little bit out of control by the end of that game, definitely showing why European mid laners here are the ones to fear. #1 seed Fnatic, well done.
Fantastic stuff, and once again, Soaz actually didn't die. I think there was about 3 games in that, but he just didn't die.
Yeah, Soaz played fantastically. I mean, the only reason Peke is able to play games like this is because the rest of the team works for him. Soaz sacrifices so much for that. There were 400 minion kills on Peke, 200 on Soaz. But that's because Soaz is with the team. He abandons his lane. They effectively double Peke's farm by just stop farming with one of their solo laners. And then the rest of the team, push you as well, has to initiate with that 4-man squad. They got this down right now, and they're going to try to take it to Worlds.
Well, speaking of Worlds, the debate will rage, and it's going to be down